Welcome back, and this is actually the part 5. Part 3 of chapter 5 of part 3. Part 3 is the process that relates to individuals and partnerships, and chapter 5 in that deals with the administration and distribution of the estate of the bankrupt. This part is actually very logically segmented. It first talks about the functions, duties, powers of the bankruptcy trustee and the bankrupt, including how the creditor's approval is needed for certain acts of the BT. And BT hereafter refers to bankruptcy trustee. The second part is in respect of certain transactions which can be avoided, like your after required property, onerous, disclaimer of leaseholds, disposal of property. There are about 7 different kinds of transactions that are getting discussed here. That's the second part. Then the third part within this, and by a part I don't mean a statutory part, I'm just trying to logically segment this. The third part deals with proving the debt, claims, and the last part deals with actually the distribution. So these are 4 logical segments. And now in this video we'll discuss the first part, which is the functions, duties, rights of the BT, the bankrupt. So this chapter actually starts with 149, which is the functions of the bankruptcy trustee. See, a BT basically has 3 functions. One is to realize the estate of the bankrupt. 2, to distribute the estate of the bankrupt. And for 3, to maximize his realizations and things like that, he can investigate into the affairs of the bankrupt. That's it. That is section 149. 150. In this regard, to perform these functions, in 150, they say what are the duties of the bankrupt towards the BT. So he shall give to the trustee information of his affairs, attending on the BT at such times as may be required, give notice to the BT on the acquisition, devolution of property or increase in income of the bankrupt. See, this is very relevant to the bankruptcy process itself. 4, where there is any such acquisition or devolution of property under clause C, he shall give a notice within 7 days to the BT, because that money has to come into the estate. And the bankrupt shall continue to discharge his duties other than the duties referred to in clause C, even after the discharge under section 138. Right? He has to give the information, attend on him, plus intimate him of any acquisition, devolution or increase in income. Now, to perform his core functions, the 3 things that we discussed above, what all does he need to do? He needs to have certain rights. These rights are discussed in section 151, which is he can hold property, make contracts, sue and be sued, enter into engagements in respect of the estate of the bankrupt, employ persons to assist him, execute any power of attorney, deed or any other instrument, to do any other act which is necessary. And of course the role of a BT is a fiduciary relationship. I'm holding this whole thing in trust now until the distribution is complete. For this, the Act confers certain powers on the BT. So what are these powers? Start from D. I'm just trying to tell you a more logical system of reading in under 152. Where any property comprised is held by any person by way of a hypothecation or a pledge, like a bank, he can exercise the right of redemption by giving a notice. 2, where any part of the estate of the bankrupt comprises of securities in a company or other property which is transferable in the books of a person, exercise that right to transfer to the same extent as if the bankrupt would have exercised that right to get it to himself. 3, deal with any property in a beneficial manner. So these are under the property. Then what happens? He can sell any part of the estate of the bankrupt. Then he can give receipts for realization of money. He can prove, rank, claim and draw a dividend in respect of the debts due. So it can be an interim dividend or a final dividend. Now, we spoke about the broad functions, what are his rights and what are his powers, right? So the Act also says it's not an unfettered right for a BT to do whatever he wants. So the Act says there are certain restrictions on the powers of a bankrupt. Now, what are these restrictions? Which will come into the next video.